Have you ever wondered why rhodium is one of the most valuable metals on Earth? Well, it's because of its unique properties. It's able to convert nitrous oxide in car exhaust into non-harmful gases. In March of 2021, we saw the peak of rhodium at around $30,000 an ounce. And today, everyone is asking, are we going to see that again?
All right, Ed, let's start with what is rhodium?
Well, rhodium's one of those, again, platinum group metals on the periodic table of elements. One of the six. It's a white, silvery, very hard, very dense element used in a lot of applications, a lot of industrial applications. It's very scarce. But I think the actual question should be, are we ever going to see 30,000 rhodium again, Rich?
Unfortunately, I don't think in our lifetime
Oh, really? You don't think
we'll
so?
see those numbers again.
Oh.
But historically, 7,800, 7,900 doesn't look too bad.
That's kind of where we're at today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how rare is rhodium?
Wow. Yeah. That's really kind of hard to define unless you get into mine production and things like that. It's just a very scarce metal. I don't think that more than about, 30 tons a year is produced at the mine? That's pretty small.
Yeah, annual production's about 25 to 30 metric tons.
30 tons, yeah.
Something like 690,000
It's not
ounces.
much, yeah. Not very much.
Now, is rhodium a byproduct in mining?
Well, rhodium is not a primary, it's a secondary element produced primarily from platinum, copper, nickel mining. It's in very minor concentrations in head ores. So there really aren't any primary rhodium mines to speak of. It's always a secondary byproduct.
And where is rhodium mined?
Well, it's mined all over the world, but it's 80% out of South Africa, or
Right.
70%, somewhere in that range, 70, 80%.
Yeah, I think 80%.
Most of it is coming out of South Africa, and those mines are very deep. The second largest production of rhodium as a byproduct, of course, would be coming out of Russian nickel, palladium mining operations. And then we have some here in North America as well. Very small amount.
Very minute.
Very minute.
Maybe 3%,
Yeah, it's not
maybe 3 to
much.
5%,
Yeah.
if that.
Yeah, it's not much.
And who is the biggest consumer of rhodium? What industry is the largest consumer of rhodium?
Well, I'll tell you what, if we didn't have the automobile using gasoline, producing nitrous oxide, NOx, then we wouldn't have a use for rhodium because about 85% or so of the production or consumption of rhodium goes into the catalytic converter. Again, back to the catalytic converter.
Right.
Rhodium.
Yeah, I remember years ago you told me that if there wasn't rhodium in the converters, they don't work.
They don't work the way they should.
It won't be optimal emissions control
Right.
system, catalytic converter.
Right. Interesting thing is diesel doesn't require it, doesn't produce the NOx. But can you imagine what would happen to the rhodium market if there was no need for the internal combustion engine requiring gasoline?
Yeah, it would probably
Fall.
pricing
It
fall.
would fall off the cliff.
Yeah. Hey guys, have you ever wondered if you're leaving money on the table when selling your scrap catalytic converters? Well, we have a solution for you. We have a converter price guide with thousands of part numbers. Just use it, check it out. You can sign up today, have access for it today. See if you are leaving any money on the table or keep the guy honest that you're selling to. You want to check it out, make sure you're making the most profits for your business in today's market. It's super simple, just click the link below, get started today. Now let's get back to the video.
Now, what did we see? We saw 30,000 rhodium a few years back, and that was a bubble. And the thing about the rhodium price at that time was, of course, supply demand driven. And then COVID hit, and then the pricing hit the wall and it came off. But it didn't come off because of any of the automotive reasons. It came off because, from what I heard, the Chinese glass manufacturers who consumed rhodium in the alloys there in the production of glass bushings, they had a stockpile of rhodium that they brought to market. Now, I can kind of imagine this would have been several years accumulation of used bushings with rhodium alloy that they brought to market, and all the supply came on the market. And it's a thinly traded market.
Yeah, where can I buy and sell rhodium?
Well, that's the thing. It's not like you can go to your local bullion trader or your coin shop in town and say, I'd like to buy an ounce of rhodium.
Yeah, or your local Costco. I can go into Costco and buy some platinum.
Right.
I can't do that with rhodium.
No. So it's not traded like a silver bar or a coin or a gold bar or coin. Even platinum and palladium are traded as bars and coins, but not rhodium.
Right.
So it's not traded at I would say, the retail marketplace, in the retail marketplace. Now, even on the industrial side, let's say that you're engaged in recycling of rhodium-bearing components like catalytic converters. The trading of rhodium on the wholesale side of the business is conducted by very few traders. And it's a highly illiquid market is what I would term. It's illiquid. Why? Because the spreads are wide. The spreads are not thin as in silver or gold. The spreads are wide.
Explain that. Why is that?
Well, because they have to stock it. They have to risk it. They've got to buy it and hedge it. There's a cost. They've got to hold it overnight, hold it a week, a month, and then they find a market for it, and then they move it to market. But then there's a lot of volatility in between with the pricing, and so they demand a larger spread. And that, to me, is more illiquid than a thin spread like a silver or gold product, where you've got a 1% to 2% spread on the price. So if you can't get an ingot of it or you can't get a coin of it, it's really not suitable for investment. Now, you can speculate with it. You could accumulate it. You could pool it in your pool account as a, industry.
Yeah.
And you can speculate
just
with
hold
it
on it and watch
hold
the
on
market.
to the ounces on paper that you don't actually hold the ounces.
Yeah.
The refiner holds the ounces.
That's right.
And so you could accumulate more and more and more and sell it off as the price is deemed appropriate for you in your function of operating a business. But it's just not a liquid, tradable commodity like silver or gold. So for me, I wouldn't invest in it or recommend investing in it other than on a commercial side transaction, a wholesale side transaction. Mm-hmm. The retailers are just not going to find it. Where are you going to buy it? I mean, I know you could probably buy rhodium in a fabricated form, like 1 ounce or something like that, but it would be at one of those metal supply houses, scientific supply houses. If you want to fill in all of the elements on your periodic table, you can buy each element and put it in the thing. But that's not investment. And they don't buy it back.
Right. So if you need atomic number 45 on the periodic table, which is rhodium, there is a way, but
there's a way to get it.
It doesn't make sense economically as an investment then.
That's right.
That's a good point.
It's illiquid.
Yeah, illiquid.
It's illiquid, the way I see it. Unless it's industrial and you have a pool account, then it's liquid.
That's a different story.
But the spreads are wider, and you've got to play with that in your business model.
Yeah. And going into 2026, your opinion, what do you see as far as an outlook for rhodium?
I don't see $30,000 rhodium.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Rhodium's one of those, it's hard to call because a couple of years ago, it was very high, and then a lot of supply came to the market, and it crushed the market. We thought dropping from, 28,000 to 12,000 was a huge hit, but it kept going.
Right.
How far did it fall? It fell to about $4,500 an ounce, $3,500.
Oh,
$3,500 an ounce.
Right.
It was crushed. Well, right now, as you mentioned earlier, it's about $7,600, $7,800 an ounce right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's come back up from that. And so it really shows you how volatile that metal is.
Right.
And if you're going to get in the game of playing that, you got to understand there's some serious volatility. And what causes that volatility? Supply or demand.
Mm-hmm.
And are we selling a lot of new cars right now?
Currently, no.
Are they consuming a lot of the white metals right now?
No.
Probably not. So I see this current price increase is probably some pent-up demand that they've met, and now it's going sideways. It's really hard to call where it goes, up or down from here.
Yeah.
Because of the illiquidity of the marketplace, and 85% of it goes into the catalytic converter. What happens if you're holding rhodium in the future and we go into an all-EV fleet? There's going to be no demand for rhodium.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen to the price?
It's going to hit the floor that we've never seen.
It's going to 50,000, right?
No.
No, it's probably going to, it was $1,500 an ounce about 10 years ago.
Yeah, before the big
Doesn't
run-up.
that show you the wide swings?
Yeah. Talk about volatility.
That is volatile.
Yeah.
So I'm not recommending it for an investment, but if you're a trader and you're buying and selling, and you've got a spread in between on your catalytic converter materials, take your spread, move your metal.
That's a good
Keep
point.
the money rolling.
Keep it rolling. It's always good to keep the money rolling, right?
Right. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So rhodium is mined, in South Africa for the most part, but there's other issues affecting supply.
There's economic
There's the
volatility.
economics. You've got labor issues in South Africa. You've got
strikes.
You've got power issues in South Africa that can affect supplies.
Yeah, that's a big concern at the mines. It takes a lot of power.
A big concern. So if there's a supply constraint, but we've still got auto demand, it'll force the price up probably rapidly.
Yeah.
Rapidly. Because automakers need it. They need it for the NOx.
That's right.
They don't need it in diesel, but they need it in gasoline cars.
Yeah, ICE
absolutely.
Engines, hybrids.
And the emission standards, they haven't been loosening, have they?
No, I think they're getting tighter.
They've been getting tighter. And so as a result of tighter emission standards the last 5 years, the loading of rhodium is slightly being increased to meet those standards.
Yeah.
So a little bit of an increase in supply. On the demand side.
Yeah. And there's still a lot of cars on the road, right? We've been seeing
cars
staying on the roads longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That haven't met the recycling.
Let's think about this. If you go into an all-EV world, which none of us subscribe to, right? But if that were to occur, right? And 500 million vehicles with catalytic converters containing rhodium come to market over a short period of time, a few years, and all that supply of rhodium comes on the market, what's going to happen to the price? It would crash. It would crash in that environment.
Too much.
I wish that there was other uses
surplus
for the rhodium other than some very specific scientific needs outside of the catalytic converter, but there just isn't a lot of other uses for it.
Yeah. I think it's used in jewelry, glass, like you mentioned.
It's interesting. You mentioned jewelry. They use rhodium. It's a very shiny metal. And I know it was cheaper for people to take a yellow gold ring and say, oh, I'd like to have this made in white gold because I want white. Well, why don't we just flash plate it with rhodium and it'll become white? We don't have to fabricate a new ring. Oh, okay. And then every 3 years you bring it in and we'll put a new plating on it and it'll look new. So that was a trend that went on for a few years. If you go back, in the old days that flatware, tableware was sterling silver, and hollowware, which would be teapots, coffee pots, things like that, sugar, bowls and things that were sterling. They were made of sterling silver. And the everyday pieces were just sterling silver. But the very fine, high-end sterling hollowware was flash-plated with rhodium.
Really?
You could actually see the sterling through the rhodium plating, but the reason for the rhodium on the surface was because rhodium doesn't, in that way, oxidize that silver does. So the tarnishing was diminished,
right,
because of the
with
rhodium plating.
the plated with the rhodium. That's interesting.
I even read a patent in the 1930s. A patent came out where there was a rhodium recovery patent that was filed for hollowware, for the sterling hollowware that was rhodium plated. Instead of just going right into the furnace and melting it and losing the rhodium to the sterling refining process, they sandblasted the rhodium off the surface of the hollowware. And then they would recover the rhodium out of the media that they were sandblasted with. There was a patent on that. So that was kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
But those are decorative uses for rhodium. So they're not high consumption uses.
Yeah, not like the auto industry, for sure.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
And we've talked about in the past how they're using it in medical research, through cancer research.
Yeah.
They're using that as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of research. There's a lot of hope on several of the platinum elements for medical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
Yeah, but so, I look at rhodium as one of those rare, hard elements that it's decorative, but it has its best uses as in a catalyst for the catalytic converter. And if you look at the different industries, we have chemical industries that need it. We have electronics industries that use it for, electrical contacts, use it as a hardening agent.
Yeah.
Right. So, but there's some very niche specific uses for rhodium in industry. They just don't consume a lot of metal. They only consume maybe 15% of.
Yeah, or less, right?
Or less, because there's some jewelry in that 15% as well. So it's just not a large consumption other than the catalytic converter. So, my view of where are we going from here with rhodium and catalytic converters, I think we're going more towards hybrids, smaller gas-powered engines.
Ice engines, yeah.
Ice engines, gas engines, coupled with a battery electric on a hybrid. And those are going to require rhodium in those catalytic converters. So as long as we have the hybrids on the road, and they seem to be the bridge from the old, large internal combustion engine to the electric battery EV vehicle.
Right.
So the hybrids appear to be the bridge, but they consume a lot of platinum, palladium, and rhodium. Is that going to go away soon? I don't think so. I think we're going to see hybrids probably for at least a decade.
Yeah.
Maybe longer.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Maybe even further out, yeah.
You think further out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't be buying rhodium as an investment. I would be trading it, but I wouldn't be holding it because it's hard to sell.
Yeah. That's good advice.
The spreads are wide and all of that.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is rhodium in a nutshell. Rhodium, one of the rarest and most expensive of the platinum group metals, and it's a must in the ICE engine emission system. You have to have rhodium. Check out our last podcast where we break down palladium.